Hi, everyone, and welcome to Studio Wesley Live. Derek is not here tonight, so I'll be hosting our episode. So we're going to jump right into it. Let's just get going with introducing our panelists for today. So tell me who you are, how are you? And also, I have a different question tonight. I'm going to be a little unhinged since Derek's not here. So your question tonight to answer during our introductions is, if you could take a bite out of any inedible object, assuming it would taste good, what would you choose and why? And I want to know what you think it would taste like. So, like, what would you choose and what would it taste like if you took a bite of it? So, Grace, go ahead and tell us how you are and answer our question.
Hi. I'm well after that. Okay, here's the thing is I already eat inedible objects, so I'm like, dang, if I could just like consume one of them and like I would be fine. Um I would say y'all are really getting to know me tonight. I wish that there was like a snack version of like the plastic that's on tags. Like when you have like a paper like clothing tag and there's like the strip of plastic on it and there's like the really thin part of the plastic, but then on the other side there's a like thicker one. I so wish that we had. Oh, hi Ashrith. Hi.
Hi.
It's so good to see you. I would love if I could just like eat that as a
Yeah.
snack, you know.
What would it taste like?
Well, it already tastes pretty good. But I think that it would like I don't know. I think it would just taste like plastic and not like guilt and shame, you know?
Okay, so you're just going to keep the taste as what it actually is.
I mean, I feel like it could be a fun kind of like refreshing situation as well. Like if you're taking a bite of like a gummy bear or something and it has that like flavor. I think it could be fun if we had like Haribo gummy bear flavored plastic tags.
I'm
I think
in.
that would be a good thing. So
You can totally disagree with me on this, but I feel like it's giving cherry stem energy. Like, trying to like tie a cherry stem with your tongue. Like that's what I'm picturing the future of the little plastic tags.
That could be fun too.
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
I would love if it was like artificial cherry flavored because it's a plastic tag, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That fits. Thank you, Grace. Also, Mike, if you haven't answered this question and you want to throw yours up at the screen at any point, that would be cool. Tess, how are you and what would you take a bite out of?
I'm good. I hate to say I've never thought about this question, but I haven't. I'm literally sitting here looking around my kitchen thinking, and I think I'm gonna go with flowers. Like I know you can eat like there's edible flowers and stuff, and like rose petals and like lavender and things like that. But just like the idea of like biting into a rose, I don't know. I feel like the texture would be really satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, no, I like it because it's while flowers are technically like edible, some of them, not all of them. Please don't eat flowers. You don't typically just eat the flower.
You don't bite it. Like the question is, what would you take a bite of?
Yeah. I also want to name Tess that you were like, I'm looking around this room to see. I asked Mike to put this answer on the question, and fun fact, I can see him, and I watched him turn around and start looking. I tried to see what he was gonna pick. Vendela, how are you? What are you taking a bite out of?
Hi, I'm good. A little sleepy, but doing pretty good. I think I'm coming down with a cold, guys, which I don't have time for, low-key. So, but it's okay. I'm on my emergency grind. All the antibiotics and, well, I guess not antibiotics, but preventative things. I feel like I would love to take a bite of, those like, there's been like a recent resurgence. I work for a fashion brand, so I'm constantly looking at clothes and looking at trends and stuff. There's been like, not recent, honestly, it's kind of old at this point, but the resurgence of those like ballet flat looking things that look like gummy, like the clearish ones.
Yeah.
They're like they look like a web. Yeah, honestly, they're kind of fun. Don't know if I would get a pair for myself, but like they're fun. I feel like I would love to take a bite out of those if they were like edible for a moment in time, and I think they would taste like whatever the color was, because I know there's like pink ones that one tastes like strawberry, and then like maybe a red one would be like a cherry kind of vibe.
Yeah. You do like an airhead situation, and like the whites are mystery flavored.
Yeah, or pineapple for yellow. That'd be really good.
That would be really good.
So yeah.
Okay, so Mike did some Googling. Reddit's top comment for this question is mahjong pieces. Wait, that's so funny. And
Febreze.
it's Febreze. What would it taste like, Mike?
Do you spray it into your mouth kind of vibe?
Yeah.
Like an elf with a fruit spray?
I can't hear you because you're not in the stream, because you're not, your thing's not on right now, but I can see that you're trying to talk to us.
Candy sprays. Like those sprays you like, the sprays that spray in your mouth, they taste like the flavor. Oh my God. Be great. Yes. And you'd have so much of it. Like how big a Febreze can is.
Whole can.
Hold that thing down and let it spray. Like
yeah. I just noticed that Derek is also watching the live right now. So hi, Derek. We're not condoning tasting Febreze, but if it tasted like candy, I would. I'm doing okay. I decided to do a late afternoon caffeinate, and that was a bad idea, but now I'm very awake for this live stream. I think if I could take, Derek, my question for the night, instead of what are we drinking, was if you could take a bite out of any inedible object and it tastes good, what would it be? I'm a big incense fan. And I've been using like the cones, because I got this ever right here. I got this cute little mushroom that like the incense smoke comes out of the top of the chimney. It's super cute. But I've been using a lot of cones, and I feel like that's my answer. And it would taste like a freeze-dried Skittle. Like it would have that like freeze-dried crunch. So that's Derek. Derek is having a time with this. Tell us your answer in the comments, Derek. But that's my answer. I want to take a bite of an incense cone, and I want it to taste like a freeze-dried Skittle. So with that, we'll move into highlights of the week. So I'll go ahead and I'll start with Vendela. Vendela, what is your highlight?
My highlight this week is my friend group. Like, I guess the like kind of lowish part is that like everybody's kind of not separating, but everybody's getting closer to different parts of the friend group. But the highlight is that one of the people that I've been getting really close with invited me over for soup. And we had soup at her house, and it was really cute and awesome. And I got to know her better. And yeah, it was really nice. When you have a friend group that big, it's like you don't even really know everybody in it, so it's like kind of just gonna happen where people just like get closer like that. So it's been kind of fun to get to know her better, and she also has a cute evil orange cat named Henry, so it was fun.
Stop it. My parents have a cute evil orange cat named Henry.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Maybe it's the same cat, actually.
Also, Vendela, I love that for you. But I also, typically with our highlights of the week, I have a link for you. And that's typically when we talk about those links.
Oh, wait. It's the link? I thought it was like, okay, well, me when I'm just talking about great things about my week.
No, it's incredible. I love that you shared that. But also, tell us what's going on in your link.
That's what it is. Yeah. Oh, I thought that was like news kind of thing. I didn't know we called it a highlight. My bad. Yeah, well, don't even worry about it, because I would love to talk about that.
What's your news update of the week?
Thank you so much, Grace. Thank you. And see, now I know. Well, my girlfriend actually sent this to me as a post by Yahoo Sports. And fun fact, my uncle actually works for Yahoo Sports. But basically it was this coverage of a podcast that Sophie Cunningham and this guy, who I literally just looked him up because just another random white guy to me, but his name's West Wilson, which like another random white guy name too. Let's talk about that. But West Wilson and Sophie Cunningham had this podcast, and it's also like very controversial. Every single episode they release, they get fined by the WNBA. So that's something too. But they were basically talking about this player named Michael Porter, and he decided to say that a team of elite 8th grade boys could be a WNBA team, which low-key, like, elite 8th grade boys are very good. But the WNBA is the WNBA. It's adult people that have worked for that their entire lives and are very good at it, and arguably work harder than the NBA. Let me rephrase that, actually, the MNBA, because they have way more hurdles than men who play sports. So anyway, arguably they work harder, but we don't need to talk about that. And obviously this is a silly comment. It's meaningless, low-key, like it's kind of stupid. But what annoyed me was that Yahoo Sports covered them talking about it. And like, yes, I don't like Sophie Cunningham because she's a MAGA fanatic. Yes, I don't like her because she's misogynistic. Yes, I don't like the podcast because it's misogynistic. That's not even what I'm talking about, though. The Yahoo Sports writer decided to cover that instead of covering any of the plethora of headlines that have been happening recently in women's sports. And that is what was frustrating with me, is them covering Sophie Cunningham basically saying like, oh yeah, maybe that's true, like that could happen, and she's like a very well-known WNBA player. So I think that I just hate when media outlets decide to overlook a lot of really awesome things happening for women's sports and pick and choose things that are A, misogynistic, and B, actually set back women's sports and a lot of the accomplishments we've had. So yeah, that's my highlight and my news. So there we go.
No, what Derek said in the comments, go off, Vindala. I appreciate that. I appreciate you bringing that here because I think it is important to bring in all types of highlights. I put highlights in quotation marks because I feel like those things.
Sorry.
No, listen, I love it. I'm here for it. Just those things that stand out, though, and that's what stood out to you the most this week. So I'm glad that you got it. Space to talk about it because it is important to talk about, like you mentioned, like women tend to have more hurdles anyway when it comes to sports, and then you throw in things like this at the same time and it really just messes with everything. So I appreciate you bringing that. Tess, you want to share your highlight with us?
I can, and let it be known I submitted this before the Gators then lost the next day, but I got to see Gators sports in Dallas, which was really exciting. So this week was the first and second rounds of the NCAA volleyball tournament, women's volleyball. And the Gators actually got put in the same bracket as SMU, who was hosting the first and second rounds here in Dallas. So I unfortunately didn't get to go Friday. I actually had tickets and then like work got kind of hectic and just stayed home and watched it. But yesterday I got to go literally 10 minutes away from my apartment and watch the Gators volleyball play and lose, but it's okay. But yeah, so it was just kind of cool that like multiple states away from Florida, I got to see them. That's the first time that's happened. Actually, gymnastics is doing a meet in Denton in February, which is like 45 minutes away. So we'll be going to that. But yeah, it was just really ironic that they got put in the Dallas bracket. So
yeah, I mean, even with a loss, I'm sure it was still like to have that energy that you kind of have experienced when you were in Florida, I'm sure was great, even with a loss. So
yeah, and it was a little confusing because Florida and SMU have like the exact same blue in their colors. So every time I'd be like, oh my God, there's a Florida fan. It was SMU. But there were a couple of Florida fans. So that was kind of cool too.
Yeah, you can tell where you are when you go to an arena, like based off of the colors that are there. Like I go to Emily for hockey stuff all the time. Like, you can tell, and then you see on TV, and it's like all red instead of all blue. And I'm like, oh, they're not at home. They're away.
Right. So it was a little mind numbing, a little bit, and SMU, never don't like them. Just keep me away from them. They're spoiled and entitled. But anyway.
Thank you, Tess. Grace, what is your highlight this week?
Yay. So my highlight, it's actually kind of a highlight of the month, which is pretty exciting. So there's this account on Instagram, and also pause. This is one of the first times, I guess this is still social media related, but this is one of the first times that I haven't talked about something that's like pressing like social media, music, YouTube type of thing. New things for me. New things for me. But it's also not a new thing. But so there's this account on Instagram. It's called Wonder Doodles. Her name is Joanne, but she does these little artworks. And during December, every year she does like on the first day of December, I was blah, 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 blah. But it's like really sweet little mantras. And so I love them. Me and a couple of my friends like try to post each one every day on our story because they're just so meaningful. But what she's been doing too, also the link that we have is the one for today. So also I'm so sorry that I didn't turn in my link on time, but it was planned this time because I wanted you to have the link for today. But today she posted on the 7th day of December, I didn't let negative mindsets control me. But she also posts like the ones that she's done from like the years past. So there's like On the 7th day of December, I stopped comparing myself with others. I let myself feel whatever I needed to feel. I asked for help when I needed it. Right, and they're so cute, and it's a little Star Wars guy.
I know this account. I didn't know the name.
Yeah. Well, you'll see it on my Instagram, and on the Studio Wesley account tomorrow. Ooh.
It'll be there. I gotta figure out how to post a post from it. We'll get there. I'll figure it out.
You can just screenshot and tag. We'll talk about it. Talk about it. But it's just so cute, and it honestly, some of them make me cry. Like the one from December 5th. On the 5th day of December, and it was Winnie the Pooh also, which broke me. But I allowed myself space to reflect on and process all I had to overcome this year. I don't know about that one, but it was just, they're great, and they make me feel a little bit better in the state of the world that we're in.
Yeah, no, I love you bringing that today, just because I've seen, like, I didn't even know the name of the account, but I've seen those. I've seen you post them, but I think I follow that account. I'm just really bad about knowing names of things. And so I'm glad you brought it here so other people can see how it's such a fun little thing each day. And sometimes they hit a little too close to home, but it's still so cute and great. Just a little. It's cute little doodles though, so it makes you feel a little better about it.
And like, it's human art. It's human people doing human artwork.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's great. I love that account. Thank you, Grace. So my highlight this week is a little silly. It was a long week, y'all. It was just one of those weeks where there was just not really a highlight in sight. So I'm going to share something that I recently discovered that I do when my week's really long that kind of boosts my mood. It's such a silly little thing. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of or seen Cookie Clicker. But it's this website that you go to and you quite literally are making cookies, but it's literally just by clicking your mouse on a cookie. But like over time, you can then use the cookies that you've baked to buy upgrades that eventually it'll start clicking itself. And then it goes faster and faster and faster and faster, depending on what upgrades you have. And so I will literally just like leave it sitting on one of my tabs. Cause right now I make like, I think it's like 700,000 cookies a second because I have so many upgrades. Listen, it's a whole thing. It doesn't take long to get there. I promise. I promise. I leave it sitting on my other screen and then I'll like work. And then when I need a break, because my brain's mush, I'm like, okay, how many cookies do I have? And I buy a bunch of upgrades and then I go back to work. So it's such a silly little thing, but it's been like boosting my brain and the chaos of everything.
This feels like calming adult, like Papa's Pizzeria, like those types of games, but for adults.
It kind of is, but all it involves is just clicking your mouse. Mike, I don't understand your question, but all it involves is just clicking. But it does have that same vibe.
Is your tab open right now?
Yeah, is the tab open?
Oh no, it's not right now because it sometimes when you get to like really high cookies, I leave it. I don't want it on when I'm streaming and recording and stuff because I'm like, I don't know if it'll slow down my speed. But no, it was up right until this live stream happened.
So when you close out the tab, does it start you back at 0?
No, it saves it every 60 seconds. It saves it, and you can automatically save and close out if you want to. So I like go into I have two versions, one on my laptop and one on my work, and they're kind of in different places. But every time I open it, it's at wherever it was I left off. 10 out of 10. I love Cookie Clicker. Anyway, so that's my highlight right now. It's bringing me a little bit of weird joy, and I love it. So with that, we're gonna move into our announcements. And I'm actually, since I play since I'm playing host this week, I'm throwing it over to Grace to do our announcements.
Hi, long time no see, everybody. So we just have one announcement tonight, but it's a really cool and special one because it means that we have community group tonight. So that starts at 6:45 or right after Studio Wesley Live, and it's through Zoom. You can DM us for the link if you don't have the link, and it's just a great place for young adults to, we gather. You can engage in like spiritual community and growth and all those wonderful things. Even though we're in different states and cities and spaces, we get to chit chat together and be in community. So wonderful time. Again, DM us for the link if you need it. We would love to see you there. It's like right after this too. So like if you're already here, you might as well just like stay here,
That's well. Yeah. Thank you, Grace. So we'd love to see you at 6:45 tonight. As Grace said, DM us for the link. And that will bring us right into our segment 2, story time. I've never played host during story time, but if I'm remembering how it works, Mike, I'm throwing you in now.
Yes, hello everybody. So as we do on Storytime, I'm going to read you guys a sort of post that was asking a question of its readers, and then we'll kind of react to it blindly. So this is the first time anybody's been reading this, unless they've caught this on their own, in which case, all bets are off. So today's story is from a Reddit thread called "Am I Overreacting?" And this is, am I overreacting for being overwhelmed by the amount of gifts I received from my parent on Christmas? Get a little Christmassy season here. So the story, this is written by a 21-year-old male. 21-year-old male, just finished exchanging gifts with my family and feel like an a-hole for how I reacted when it was my turn to open my presents. My single mother, 56-year-old female, has a very big heart and loves giving gifts to her children every year, but I unfortunately don't like receiving things as it leads to clutter and overwhelms me by my inability to stay organized. Additionally, I live out of state for college and don't have any way to transport the large stack of presents on a 10-hour bus ride at the moment, leading to more disorganization and tension. I am on the autism spectrum and am struggling with communicating how I feel about the situation to my family. My mom got me approximately $500 worth of gifts, and I have no way of returning them without a receipt. If I could get some advice on how to handle this situation, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Okay. I have some thoughts, but I want to hear what you guys think about it first. So I'm just going to start throwing it to you guys. So Grace, what are your immediate thoughts about this?
My immediate thoughts are just like, damn, like realistic, honestly. And like when our OP mentioned that they're on the autism spectrum, I was like, no, this makes total sense, because there are so many situations, as someone who is autistic and has done this so many times, like in the moment you have a big reaction because it's your immediate reaction, and like it's, like you're reacting naturally, you're not holding that back, and like that's a wonderful thing to like not hold back your feelings. But like I can so imagine this mom loves gift giving, this mom is so excited and is like, oh my god, like my son is in college, probably wants to like care for him, offer him these things. I wonder what the gifts are, because I wonder like if any of the gifts are helpful for him to maybe clean up a bit. But like I'm disorganized, I'm cluttered, my mom loves to give me gifts, and every time I'm like, Lisa, like I react differently, but I can so imagine this, like the mental math of like some expletives that I'm not gonna say on this chat, but like, oh my gosh, like, okay, now I have to move this around, and I have to like clean up my closet now because I have to find hangers for this, and I'm gonna have to buy more hangers, and like okay, I barely even have floor space for this, okay, now I'm gonna have to do all this. And it's like this wonderful thing that like your parent is caring for you in their love language, and like they are going above and beyond, and there's so many additional stressors and tasks that go with that. So I'm like, I don't think this person's overreacting from their immediate response, but I think like there could be some conversations, because also my 20s have been a time of me learning I'm autistic and telling my whole family about why they might behave in certain ways. And so I wonder, like, this is a lot. These are a lot of things that I'm pondering right now. But I just wonder, like, what conversations could still be had with this mom in terms of, like, is she, like, supporting her son in the best way? Did he inherit this from her, from dad? Like, do they have any tendencies that and which parent did this come from? How does this impact things? What conversations do we have in the future? Those are my thoughts.
Yeah. And I think, and I'm going to kind of throw it to Tess and Vanilla in a second, but I was going to acknowledge Derek's question too. So he said, I want to know what the parent is not ready to talk about and sending gifts instead, which I think is kind of a neat perspective, not neat, but like with this particular Reddit thread, are we on Reddit right now? I don't remember. It's gone. I can't see it anymore. Cool. We're on Reddit with this particular thread and this particular situation between the OP and the mom. There are so many unknown pieces of like what kind of supports has the kid have in the past. And I use the word kid lightly because he's an adult now, but like what kind of supports has he had? How much of an understanding does she have of his autism and all of the things? So my thoughts are formulating, but Tess, where are you with this?
So my first reaction is just like, oh, wow, someone else feels this way too. That's really nice. Because, wait, which way? So this tree, my dad sent me, and it just showed up in my mailroom. He texted me, talked about a tree, and I had been putting it off because I my apartment has a lot of space, but there's just like nowhere that it made sense to put a Christmas tree. Like there's just, unless I was going to put it in the middle of my kitchen, like there's just not open space or like wall space to put it up against, or there's not an outlet where I have room. So I was going to kind of do my own thing. I was probably just going to get one of the little 3-foot tall ones from Whole Foods, put it on my porch, and then bring it in for like actual Christmas when my mom and stepdad are here. And then my dad went and ordered me a 6-foot tall tree. So it's things like that. And he's like, oh, I got a great deal on it. But it's just like, you just shipped it to my apartment, dude. Like I kind of on my own had to figure out where I was going to put it. And so I don't know. I just like, I think it's comforting to know that other people feel that way. And there are definitely ways around it. Like my family has definitely gotten better as I've gotten older, you know, like, sorry to burst anybody's bubble if there's anyone listening, but like post Santa era, like getting better about just asking, I know Vendela, I'm sorry. But just like asking what we actually need and or want instead of just guessing. Like there's definitely still some aspects of guessing. And then I'm like, great, I have this thing that I like don't need or don't use and don't have a place for in my 600 square foot apartment. But I think overall my family's gotten a lot better with that, which I'm very grateful for. Or just like my favorite thing in recent years has been telling family members like, hey, if you're going to get me a gift card, get me a Publix gift card. Well, not anymore. Get me a Trader Joe's gift card. Get me like a gas station gift card, something that I actually spend money on week to week instead of like, I despise Visa gift cards. I know you can use them a lot of places, but I have so many that have like less than $5 left on them and I can do nothing with them. So it's just, for me, it's a difficult conversation because no matter how many times I tell a person that I'm grateful and that like, I don't want this to come off as ungrateful, I feel like it still kind of does sometimes, or they still interpret it that way. So yeah, I mean, I think the conversation needs to be had. I think a lot of people feel that way. And there's just different elements of the story, like the fact that OP has a single mom. Like I'm sure that plays into it too, because I know like in my case, having parents who are divorced, like that's sometimes a sticky situation because it's like, I know that my dad makes more than my mom does. And so I don't want there to be any animosity of like, oh my gosh, your dad got you all of these things. I only got you this, because that doesn't matter to me. Like, I don't think about that at all. So I think the situation makes it sticky too. But yeah, just knowing that this is a common thing, honestly, has even made me feel a little bit better as we head into Christmas. And yeah, just being willing to have that conversation. And even if the conversation doesn't go super well, at least you know that you put it out there, and maybe it will, at the very least, make the parent think a little bit more about it.
Yeah. And I think a couple of things from what you're saying is like, one, I think that, you know, when Mike brought up the idea of like doing a blind read, at least, you know, as one of the segments or part of the segments for Studio Wesley Live, we know when it was still being imagined on how it could work. I think that part of, I liked it. I loved the idea because I think with these blind reads, there is always going to be someone who's like feels seen by them, by the circumstance that's happening, because people go to these forums and they say these things because they're looking for people to identify with them and be like, no, you're not overreacting. Like that's a thing we're experiencing too. So I appreciate you naming that and like the ways that like, oh, other people feel like this. But also too, thinking about like, the intention is there, right? Like I'm going to buy this gift. I'm going to send this gift. They're going to love it. And they're like thinking, but at the same time, it brings up those feelings of like, okay, but that's not actually what I needed or wanted in that moment. So it would be really cool if we would just have a conversation and you would get to know who I am and like the things that I'd actually need from you. So a few different sides that are coming out here, like not even thinking about like the neurodivergent pieces of it, right? Of just like, hey, as you're a kid, I would love it if you just like got to know me a little more.
And even Derek's point about like, and your point about the intention behind it, like my dad sending me the tree, I 100% know it's because he's not going to be able to spend Christmas with me. And so this is his way of like making sure that I have a space to celebrate and like to decorate my tree and that I get to partake in that, even though like I'm not at home with him. So like I know the intention's there, but it still doesn't make it better that like I had to find somewhere to put it. I'm going to have to find somewhere to store it 11 months out of the year. So yeah, it's hard because you want to acknowledge the intention, but at the same time, you also can see and feel the impact.
Right, because it's like, buy this gift, give this gift, don't think about what happens next. Like, I think if I remember right in the story that Mike read to us, this particular person had to then get home somehow with all of the gifts.
Back to college.
Like, yeah, I was like, didn't even think about what happened next in that process. Yeah. Vendela, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that I'm very much like, my love language is acts of service, and also my mom's love language is acts of service. And so I think it's really been instilled in me, like, start to finish, how's this gonna work? You know, like, you buy them something, okay, what are they gonna do with it? Are they gonna use that? No? Then don't buy it for them. And I think that, like, it's like almost like very much been, like I said, like, instilled in me, Loki almost shoved down my throat. Like, my mom's like, anytime I go to buy something, like, even as a kid, like, you're a kid at Claire's and you're trying to buy your friend a friendship necklace, and she's like, doesn't your friend have 5 of those? And you're like, well, yeah, but, like, I want them to have one from me. So, I don't know. I think that reading this, for me, like, the mom, I'm like, girl, you should have been knowing that. Like, I don't know. That's just the way that I think now at this point, but it's also because I was raised like that. But also, like, I get it if that's how, because my love language is acts of service, so, like, that's also why I think that way. So if hers is gift giving, then I can see that miscommunication. I also do hope that she understands her son enough to know that that would overwhelm him. It's a little concerning that she doesn't. I understand that that's her love language, but as a parent, like, you kind of signed up to put that aside a little bit to cater to your child's needs and, like, what they perceive as, like, love. So I think that that's a little concerning for me, that she doesn't know that. And yeah, I think that they need to have a conversation, and that's about it, to be honest. Everything else I agree with you guys. But I think mostly I'm concerned about the mom's vibe. Like, I'm sure it was very, like, good intentions, but sometimes I'm like, oh, can it be good intentions if you, like, don't know that person? Like, or you do know them and because you live with them and that's your son and you raised him, and then you still get him something that you know will overwhelm him. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to make her out to be a villain, but that is something I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of us are trying to make her into a villain. I think it's just acknowledging that, like, there are scenarios and situations in which this probably could have gotten better. Like, I'm glad that this person could go to this platform and share the story and kind of get thoughts and feelings from other people. And I'm sure the comments were probably a mix of, like, people firing him up and, like, being like, yeah, you're, like, absolutely, that's not right. And there are other people who are just, like, showing support in different ways. But I mean, thinking about, like, just in general, you know, the holidays are complex for everybody. There's always things going on. There's always layers. You add in neurodiversity and you add in not feeling heard or known by parents, and thinking about, he's in college, so I don't know his age, but, like, thinking about, like, going from being a high schooler in your parents' house to a college 21, thank you, to a college student, and, like, that transition and what that looks like. And then, you know, your parents getting to know you as that kind of adult. And so there are just so many complex layers to it. I think, like, with my initial thoughts too, one, everything you guys just said, I initially just from the start had a hard time with it just because I'm not a commercial Christmas person. So I have a hard time with the idea of, like, just buying, I think it was like $500 worth of stuff that this person doesn't even necessarily want, because I'm such a, like, homemade or, like, sentimental or, like, things like that, or experiences that you're going to have together kind of person. And so I had a hard time with this from the start because of that. But then I think about, like, is this person getting the support he needs, and the way that, like, his mom clearly doesn't know or understand him, and like, the communication between them doesn't seem like it's going as well as he would hope to, because he had even said, like, I'm not sure how to say this to her, like, where to go with it. So there's just a lot of complex things happening around the holidays, and this is just another one. And so I think it's just important to name that everyone's in a different place and everyone can be experiencing these things. I don't think it's an overreaction to feel overwhelmed by these things. I think it's easy to be overwhelmed by the holidays, and that's okay. I think it's good to be talking about it, even if it's to a platform like Reddit, just to get it out so someone can hear it. So
also, I do want to add that for a lot of people, the holidays are not a fun time. Like, Yeah, like I feel like you were saying, there's so much that goes into it. Like I have friends that have like a lot of trauma from the holidays, and like they don't want Merry Christmas. Like they don't want a holiday card. They don't want to be given stuff because it's just kind of a reminder of things in the past or like the general season. So yeah, and especially if like you're overwhelmed by gifts and like the logistics of how you're going to use them and how you're not trying to hurt people's feelings, like I can see how the holidays, they didn't say this, but how somebody could feel like not really loving the holidays because that's like all the things they don't like.
Yeah, I think it's important to say this too, just I mean, talking as young adults, for young adults, things like that. Like 21, that would, I assume they're probably a junior, maybe an early senior in college. Like that time I think is also really hard because you're in this weird limbo of like you're trying to be independent from your parents, but you also really still rely and depend on them for a lot of things. And these are conversations I've had with my friends, and even like me. I mean, I had to get new tires for my car a couple of weeks ago, and my dad like basically offered to foot the bill, and I had to tell him like, I appreciate it, and honestly I will take you up on it to a certain extent, but like I don't want you to be doing this because I want to be able to do it on my own. And so those conversations, I don't know, I just feel like there's so many things that influence this. Like OP, I totally agree, is not overreacting because there's so many layers of like thought and feelings that go into this, that I don't know if mom, to Vendela's point, that's just how she expresses, you know, love, or she just doesn't understand.
Well, and even like on the other hand of that, just super quick, you have parents who you're like, they give you things, and then you're like, hey, I'm really grateful for this thing, and also it's not like, if you give any sort of negative response, then like you're like not allowed to ask for something next time. And it's like, well, you didn't want this thing, so why should I give you like this financial support now because you didn't want this specific thing like through my framework, kiddo? And it's like, no, mom, like I like these $500 that you spent, we don't even know what it is. We don't even know what she spent the money on. Like, and this is also assuming that there's so many assumptions right now, but it's like there are folks who like they might not want specific support from their parents. They want to handle something on their own, but then their parents are not receptive to next time their child asks for help. And it's like, well, I'm an adult with autonomy, or I'm trying to be an adult, and I should have autonomy. And so then there's these complexities around like, how do you say no respectfully enough that like your parent will still like be willing to parent afterwards?
Mm-hmm. And I feel like one of the hardest parts of that conversation, or like the conversation you have with your parents, to your point, Grace, is like trying to not come off as ungrateful. And that's what I was saying, is like, no matter how many times I try to assure someone that I'm very grateful, and like for me, it's coming from a place of caring because I don't want them to waste their money on something that I'm going to donate a couple months later, or I'm just never going to use. Like I would rather that money not even necessarily go to me, but if it does, be something I'm actually going to use and going to think about them when I use. So yeah, it's hard, but you got to have that conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate all of this. I think you guys are bringing in so many different complexities to the holiday season that like, I do feel like as a society, we are getting better about talking about this. Because I think for a while it was so hidden and people were like, we're not going to talk about the other side of the holidays because like Vendela said, it's not good for everyone. It's not exciting and happy for everyone. Before we wrap this up, Mike, do you have a little bit of an update on it now?
Yeah, so not much, but we do have one comment that that original poster responded to. So I just wanted to give that. It's the closest thing to a wrap up we'll get from the story. But somebody offered good advice, sort of past, present, future, suggesting for the present tense, like you should think about leaving some of them at your mom's house. Like if you have a room there, like leave some items there, only take what you like really want or feel is worth taking. And then they suggested sort of framing that conversation with parent as sort of through the lens of autism, which we're working under the assumption that mom has somewhat of an understanding about. And then they said themselves, as a college student, I make it a point to only ask for gift cards because traveling is hard. And OP did respond, thanking them for that comment. They said the idea about keeping some items at mom's house is a really good idea. I don't have enough room in my 1-bedroom apartment for some of these things. And then they said that they'll be working on a script to approach mom with for the future so it doesn't happen again. So that's about what we have there. And that person echoed back like, yes, the script is a great call. Love it. There we go.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for bringing us there, Mike, and just adding that little bit of context. I want to say too, as someone, so I have 2 jobs, and my other job, I spend my entire day working with adults in the autism spectrum, and scripting is great for all people. So if you've never tried scripting and you have a conversation you want to have with someone and you're a little nervous about it, try scripting. It's incredible. It's a great tool. So I'm glad that brought us here. But yeah, holidays are complex. There are so many different layers to this. We don't know what led up to the gift giving. What did the days prior look like? What is holidays like for that family, for this particular person? Like to Derek's point of like wanting to know what the parent is not ready to talk about, that they're giving all of these gifts instead. What are the layers? What are all the things? But all of that said, everybody is going through something in the holidays. I think it's very uncommon now because we are getting more open about talking about this stuff to talk to anybody who's like, yep, everything's perfect. There's no family conflict. There's no missing people. There's no it's just not reality. And so focusing on the small things, those small moments of joy where you can, I think is really helpful as well. But I appreciate what you brought in to this story tonight, Mike. And so we're going to take just a little bit of a small break. Yeah, so we are nearing the end of our live stream today, but before we head out, since Derek couldn't be with us, he did record a closing for us. So Mike, I'll go ahead and pass it to you to throw that up on the screen.
Oh, we might be having difficulties with that at the moment. Let's. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I think we're that's not wanting to play right now. Can we attach this like in the comments if we post this after the fact?
I think so. I think it can go in the comments. We'll find a way to get it there. So I will just go ahead and close us out then for the end. So thank you guys all for watching. Thank you to the panel for being here and for having this discussion. Like I said, I think it's important to have discussions surrounding the holidays in a time when everything appears so joyful on the outside, but there are so many different things happening on the inside and hard conversations and hard moments. We were joking before we started the live. Somebody was like, I can't remember what it was. Like, what was the most uncomfortable conversation you guys had at Thanksgiving and things like that. So like just knowing that like all of that exists and we're acknowledging that and we're here to support you in whatever you need as you walk through all of this. So with that, I think that is Studio Wesley Live. If you are coming to community group, we'll see you in just a moment. And if you are not, we will see you next week. Bye.